Imagine this. You're born in a tiny mountain stream, no wider than a sidewalk. The world is cold. Your siblings swim beside you. Then one day you're swept away by the current, dragged downstream into rivers, through estuaries, and finally into the vast, unforgiving ocean. Years pass. You grow strong. You forget the taste of fresh water. But then, something stirs. A call, a compass buried deep within your cells. And against every odd, against predators, storms, and distance, thousands of miles of distance you return. Not just to the river, not just to the valley, but to the very rock where you were born. Welcome to the astonishing journey of the salmon. No GPS, no map, no memories, at least not in the way we understand them. Yet somehow, salmon find their way home. Biologists call it natal homing. And it's one of the most precise, most grueling feats in all of animal migration. How do they do it? Why do they do it? And what does this odyssey tell us not just about fish, but about ourselves? Let's rewind the clock. A salmon's life begins in a quiet stream, where oxygen-rich waters dance over smooth gravel beds. The eggs lie hidden, fragile, and golden. When they hatch, the fry are small, barely the size of a paperclip, and utterly dependent on the stream's embrace. But this birthplace is not just a location, it's destiny. Here's the first twist. Even at this early stage, scientists believe salmon begin forming a chemical imprint of their home stream. They record a scent trail made up of minerals, soil particles, and microbial signatures. It's not memory in the human sense. It's deeper. It's like the river itself becomes a part of them, a molecular signature etched into their very olfactory system. But soon, the stream becomes too small, too slow. The fry grow into smolts, and it's time to leave. They ride the currents downstream, passing through wide rivers, estuaries, and finally, salty, open sea. This transition isn't just geographical, it's physiological. To survive in the ocean, salmon undergo something called smoltification, a complete remodeling of their bodies. Their kidneys shift function. Their gills change. Even their behavior transforms. Imagine being a child one day and then having your lungs, your skin, your entire biology rewritten for another planet. That's what these fish do. Out at sea, life is brutal. Salmon face orcas, sharks, nets, starvation. Many never return. But those that do after 1, 2, even 5 years begin to change again. Their bodies readapt to fresh water. But more than that, something in their brains stirs. A pull, not random wandering. A drive, a direction. Somehow against roaring currents and confusing tributaries, they know which way is home. It starts in the open ocean. Researchers believe salmon use the Earth's magnetic field as a kind of biological compass, detecting subtle variations in intensity and inclination like natural GPS. In fact, experiments have shown that young salmon exposed to magnetic fields resembling distant coastal regions will orient themselves as if they're already there. It's as if they carry a magnetic map inside their nervous systems. But that's just phase 1. Once they get close to their home coastline, within about 100 miles, they switch to phase 2, olfactory navigation. Smell, that's right. The same way a dog recognizes your shoes, or a bee identifies its hive, salmon smell their way upriver. Each stream, each bend, each pebble has a unique chemical perfume. And these fish who haven't been there in years can detect it at a few parts per trillion. It's like finding a single specific drop of wine in an Olympic swimming pool and swimming straight to it. As they journey upstream, everything works against them. The rivers rage, the waterfalls roar, the bears are waiting. And unlike their journey out to sea this time, they don't eat. Not a single bite. Their bodies begin to cannibalize themselves, converting muscle into fuel. They lose color. Their jaws hook into grotesque shapes. But still, they swim. And as they get closer, something almost mythic happens. They become specific. If there are two streams, separated by just a few feet, each leading to a different spawning ground, a salmon will choose the exact one they were born in. Not the general area, not the same valley, the same stream, same curve, same stones. It's homing on a level that borders on the supernatural. Why? Why not just find any nice spot with water and gravel? Because this isn't just about reproduction. It's about evolutionary insurance. The stream they were born in is one where, against all odds, their parents succeeded. That location, its temperature, its chemistry, its predator profile, it produced them. It worked. And evolution, ruthless and precise, favors what works. So salmon don't gamble. They return to proven ground. But even this grand return, this journey of memory and instinct comes with sacrifice. As the salmon battle their way upstream, their bodies begin to unravel. Skin sloughs off, scales darken. Some develop wild, hooked jaws called kypes, used not for eating, since they've stopped that, but for fighting. Males clash violently over access to females and bloody rituals that can leave deep wounds. The air above the streams rings with splashes, tail slaps, and the soft, gurgling sounds of shallow water churned by hundreds of beating bodies. It's a battlefield, and yet, it's also a nursery. The females dig redds small depressions in the gravel with powerful thrusts of their tails. There, they lay hundreds, sometimes thousands of eggs. Males hover nearby, releasing milt to fertilize them. Then, the females carefully cover the eggs with pebbles, ensuring they're hidden from predators and anchored against the current. And then, they die. Nearly all Pacific salmon are semelparous, meaning they reproduce once, then perish. Their bodies, now pale and torn, float downstream or catch on rocks. It might seem tragic, but their death is no waste. In fact, it's essential. Their flesh becomes nutrients, fuel for the forest. Bears drag them into the undergrowth. Eagles pluck them from the shallows. And even the trees benefit. Scientists have found nitrogen from salmon carcasses in the needles of coniferous trees over 100 feet away. Think about that. A fish born in a stream, dies in the same stream, and feeds a forest. It's an elegant, closed-loop system. The cycle of birth, journey, death, and rebirth is not just biological, it's ecological. And it's fragile. Dam a river, and you cut the thread. Pollute a stream, and you poison not just a species, but an entire network. Overfishing, warming oceans, deforestation, it all chips away at the salmon's incredible journey. And yet, they persist. In Alaska, British Columbia, Norway, Japan, everywhere, salmon-run people still gather to watch them leap. Against logic, against gravity, against death. Children line bridges, scientists tag fins. Bears, ancient and hungry, wait like clockwork. And somewhere in that chaos, if you look closely, you'll see one fish. Just one. Scraped raw by rocks, jaws curled like sickles, but still swimming toward that one specific gravel bed it hasn't seen in 5 years. And somehow, it knows. And that perhaps is what makes this journey so compelling. Not just the science though, the science is mesmerizing. Not just the drama though, it's cinematic. But the idea, the truth, that something can be born, be lost, be changed, and still find its way back. That instinct's deeper than memory, older than thought, can guide a creature across oceans only to die where it began. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? If a salmon can do that, if molecules and neurons can create a compass so precise, what does that say about us? What instincts do we carry? What rivers are we swimming back to without even realizing it? And perhaps most hauntingly of all, what happens if we block the way? Because here's the thing, the salmon's journey isn't just a marvel of evolution. It's a mirror of resilience, of risk, of return, In a world that's always changing, it reminds us that some creatures survive not by adapting to new places, but by remembering old ones. And maybe, just maybe, that's the kind of wisdom we need too.